Welcome back. You got Will and Iman here from the Block Runner MetaZone, Rovi, and MScribe, and we're almost fully scribed out.
Scribed out, dude.
Yeah.
So we came up with that clever
After careful deliberation.
right before we turned on the flicker, dude. It's because we've experienced something like this before in the ordinal space, right? Remember, everybody remembers the truly miraculous blockout period for
That was
Bitmap.
fun.
That was great.
I was live tweeting that, dude.
That was sick, dude.
I was like 1 a.m.
Something like that, yeah. We're sitting there watching like the block
count,
countdown provided by, I think, bitmap.wtf or something like that.
That's right.
So it was great. Like the whole community definitely rallied around, like, you know, first of all, bitmaps, and then like the idea of at some point all of the existing ones are going to block out, right? It's a mint out event, but it was a huge 800,000.
Yeah.
So we needed to claim every single one. That's 800,000 inscriptions, right?
That's right.
So we're looking at something. We've been aware of this SATS thing for a while. A lot of you guys have been like telling us to talk about this for weeks. And I don't know. I guess we kind of had to like formulate an opinion on this because it is very interesting. There's a lot of like very unique
attributes to it.
To what's happening here. It's not as clear like to us because, you know, Bitmap made too much sense to us.
Yeah.
Because that's like right into our niche of like Metaverse ecosystem, right? We have years of experience handling this stuff. Yeah. Right? But this has some parallels and some similarities, but as far as like direction and purpose, it's not as clear.
Yeah, so that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about why SATS is cool and also why it might not be that cool.
Okay. Yeah. Let's start with the cool factors.
The cool factor.
All right. The cool factor is this thing has been like an open fair mint for months now.
Yeah. So we we look at millions, billions, trillions, 2.1 quadrillion.
I can't even.
In supply.
That's okay. So why that number?
Because it matches how many sats there is in Bitcoin.
Right. So there's 100 million Satoshis, right? Per Bitcoin.
Yeah.
There's only ever going to be 21 million of them. So if you do the math, that equals to that, right?
Yeah.
Which is like a number that's never been like you know?
Yeah. No, we can't really understand what this number is. Like how big it is.
Jesus.
But it's really big.
Yeah. That's massive, right? So what can you do with that many units?
So, what can you do?
That's the speculation, right?
That's the question. So per mint, there's 100 million of these. So you just mint this once and you get 100 million of these.
Basically a whole Bitcoin.
That's right.
Every time you inscribe for like $1 or $2, it's like you're inscribing a whole
Bitcoin, yeah.
For $1 or $2.
That's right. Okay. That's a pretty cool way of looking at it.
Yeah. I mean, if you had the chance to, you know, mine Bitcoin back in 2009 or whatever for $1, I'm pretty sure we'd all be doing it in hindsight.
Oh, 100%.
So, I mean, so that's where the speculative juices start to come in, right? You could paint these narratives.
Yeah.
It's like, what if? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was deployed March 3rd or March 8th, 2023. So it was a long time ago in the context of things.
Yeah, that's right around when like the Ordi token was deployed, you know, probably within the same week timeline of like the BRC-20 token standard emerged.
Yeah, and take a look at this inscription number start. 357,000.
Wow.
Yeah, so this is super early.
Oh, yeah.
Inscription number N, so right now it's at 30 million. That's the current number.
Yeah, we just crossed 30 million a few days ago. So.
Yeah, dude, we're almost at 31 million. Look at that.
Yeah, and this is going to introduce another cool factor here, right? We got 31 million roughly total inscriptions since the ordinal standard has been introduced.
Yeah.
So here at the bottom, we're looking at
here's holders 31,000, and then total transactions 17 million.
So that accounts for more than 50% of like the total inscription count, and we're talking the whole ordinal ecosystem.
Yeah.
More than half of it can be attributed just to the minting of this token alone.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And there's really not that much like noise out there about this, right?
No, it's not. It's weird.
You don't see the rare SAT cartel telling everyone to go inscribe these tokens.
Yeah.
You know, you don't see Leonidas and Trevor like holding weekly fucking Twitter spaces about like the potential of the SAT token.
Yeah.
But somehow 31,632 people.
Yeah.
And this many transactions have like poured into like the accumulation event.
Yeah.
Of the ordinal lifetime, right?
Yeah, so this is a blockout of all blockouts, right? If you think about it.
Yeah, I think so. And like it's interesting because again, that was fascinating because there's 800,000 blocks for Bitmap, and it took what, like 3 weeks, 2.5
about 3 weeks.
3 weeks to fully mint out or to be claimed completely.
Yeah.
So this is
3 months, 4 months in operation.
Yeah. So this is interesting, dude. So I guess now what? Like, what do you do? What do we do with this knowledge, right? It's not finished. That's one big thing.
Yeah, it's not finished. So we're at 82.5%. So we have quite a ways to go, maybe another couple of weeks. But as things get closer to minting out, they start to exponentially increase the rate.
Yeah, I'm starting to see. Yeah, I totally agree. FOMO, right?
Yeah.
That's when it kicks in.
Yeah.
We saw the same thing with Bitmap. It's like in the beginning stages, like people were FOMOing into like, I got to get the earliest stuff.
Yeah.
And then there was like a little bit of a lull.
Yeah.
And then once we got to like, close to blockout, then things really ramped up again. So I think, we're going to approach probably once we get past like the 90% mark for these SAT tokens, you're going to see like quite the accelerated pace.
Then everybody's going to talk about it just because everybody's talking about it.
Right. So we kind of want to, even though we've been aware of this, it's just kind of like, let's discuss like what can come of this.
Yeah. What does this mean though to have 31,000 holders?
So for one, that's more than Bitmap, right? This is the largest ordinal ecosystem in existence right now by holder count purely.
Yeah. So Bitmap has around 22,000. So this one has roughly 10,000 more.
Yeah. I think the closest runner up as far as like a BRC-20 token standard, it's probably either BitGod 0xBT.
Yeah. They have 7,000 holders, something like that.
Or it's VampX, VMPX. Which I think has like 11 or 12,000.
Yeah, I think they have more. Yeah.
So those are some big BRC-20 tokens, but this outweighs it by quite a bit.
2 to 3x.
Yeah. So it's interesting, man. And then you start to speculate, why is Bitmap doing so well?
Yeah. And there's a counterpart. I don't know if they're related, but there's the .sats domain, and
yeah, I've been trying to figure that out myself too, but I don't think it's related in any way. I don't think so. I don't think there's any utility to the SATS token yet. Yeah.
Agreed. It's not related, but the domain has 456,000 records. So these are just names.
Yeah, SATS is like a very popular name standard,
Yeah.
In the Bitcoin
space.
Makes sense.
Of course, Jake, he's talking about SATS here. This was posted yesterday or a few days ago. It's taken 6 months to mint out 80%. It has 45x transactions, then the second most transacted BRC-20 VampX.
Yeah.
Did you know that we're more than just a YouTube channel? We also built Mscribe, the first inscription platform built from the ground up for the metaverse on Bitcoin. Connect your Bitmap Ordinals and use our tools to bring your community into the virtual realm. Support us by joining the movement at mscribe.io. Like, comment, and subscribe for the latest alpha. Back to the video.
So this thing is flying off the shelves, literally, dude.
Yeah.
It has been probably pretty consistently for a while. It's just there's such a large supply, and it's going to take more of a collective effort, I guess, to kind of like claim or to what did we call it in the beginning?
Full
inscribe. Yeah, to do that basically.
Yeah,
but it's underway. So Metaverse with like the ultimate FOMO juice here.
Yeah. So it says one SATS BRC-20 is currently really small to mint.
Yeah.
One actual SATS is worth about, this is 2/100ths of a penny, right? If SATS BRC-20 manages to make it 1/100th of the price of an actual SAT, that would be a gain of 172x. So if it was on parity, it would be 17,200x.
No. So can't even imagine, right? I'm glad he included that because now we're all sitting here imagining.
Yeah.
That is kind of like the point, right? And the thing I find most interesting about all of this is it kind of feels, there's no like roadmap here, right? Yeah. There's no objective. There's no like unified, cohesive theory behind this token like there is for Bitmap, right? It's like, here's an understanding, here's a process, here's like a whole utility purpose to inscribe these things, right? We built an agreed understanding for like, a metaverse standard.
Yeah.
Right? And then from that, we're going to get like this whole virtual ecosystem.
Yeah. Has a direction.
There you go. And it's working, right? It's like developers are stumbling onto this thesis and they're like, you know what? I see it too.
Yeah.
Let me contribute to this end.
Yeah.
Let me acquire some of these bitmaps myself. Now I'm aligned incentive wise, right? Because I own some of these assets. If I do well and I contribute, tremendous value to this ecosystem, these alignment vehicles now go up in value, right? Now,
right.
My efforts are not wasted.
So basically, what could 32,000 people who are aligned, who are holding the same token, right? What could 32,000 people do, right? That sort of looks like a DAO, right?
Yeah. We saw this on the Ethereum side. Remember when we were starting to see DAOs just kind of like spawn out of thin air?
Mm-hmm. Even there's one DAO that purchased like a portion of the Declaration of Independence or something like that.
Wait, what? I don't remember that.
One of those documents.
That's badass, actually, dude. What a boss move from the DAOs, dude. But I could totally see that because at that point it's a community. There's probably like a lot of money like locked into some sort of treasury for the DAO, and then there's like governance mechanisms to decide what to do with these types of funds, right?
Yeah.
Maker DAO did that. Their DAO like agreed to, I guess, like deleverage themselves from, what was it? Was it USDC?
Yeah.
Or I think it was USDC.
Yeah, it was.
And to purchase like US treasuries and like incorporate that into their like DAO treasury. Now that's fascinating, right?
Yeah, and they needed to do that to make sure they, I guess they don't risk their assets, right? So it's like. Yeah,
because maybe everybody started to find out that USDC actually can be like basically shut off.
Yeah.
I think after the whole Tornado Cash thing,
That's
so it's like, hold on, dude, like there's some risk here.
Yeah, they can censor it.
Yeah. So it's like it's not like a decentralized product. So there's risks in all that. There's risks in holding any token, right? So let's diversify into some like
it was practically unanimous to buy treasuries.
It's probably a good idea, dude.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. So that's kind of like an example of what these DAOs, right? So Maker DAOs is an example of there is a token and it's an organization of humans across the planet. Again, all aligned. We've created this product called DAI, right? And a collateralized lending protocol. All this stuff emerged from like the alignment incentive of a governance token, I guess. So you can kind of postulate this might happen, on the Bitcoin ordinal space, right?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't it? If it happened on Ethereum, like DAO emergence,
right?
How is this not going to be a thing on Bitcoin?
Yeah, for sure. And so we have a counterpart comparison. So,
we found basically like a mirror.
Yeah. So Badger DAO, it's been around since 2021, January 2021. Or is it 2020?
I guess ended 2020. Yeah.
Yeah. And so what I did was I went to CoinGecko. I went to their contract, looked it up on Etherscan. And if you click on Badger, it says 21 million Badger, right? Kind of like Bitcoin. Interesting, right?
Yeah.
31,200 holders at the moment.
Wow.
So do you remember any products? What kind of products were the community working on?
I think mostly DeFi stuff.
DeFi, yeah.
I think a lot of these DAOs were focused because it's like here we have a token, right? We're all aligned. So like, there's a digital currency of a sense, I guess. It's like, let's create some primitives.
Yeah.
So now we can start creating, yield generation devices or, some semblance of a digital economy with this, right? And then from then we could spin off and, create more layers of value, right? Like, okay, now we have a DeFi, financial basis, I guess, in our little ecosystem. Like, hey, let's build some games.
Yeah.
With these tokens. Hey, let's build some staking derivatives. I don't know. Let's build a Metaverse. Like you can go anywhere. You can go to any vertical from that point.
Yeah, the Metaverse.
That's right. You can do anything, dude.
But we've seen some DAOs not be so successful at this.
Yeah, see because I think at some point though, it becomes like stratified, right? Like, because again, there is no like unified, cohesive purpose.
Yeah, anyone can contribute, and if your contributors aren't building the right thing, or they're building the right thing completely wrong, like it's gonna fail.
And this is not even just like a DAO thing. Like this is like a problem, like for businesses and companies, because DAOs should kind of like operate and they should intend to operate at some point like a business, right? DAOs, in order to sustain, they need to generate some kind of revenue.
Right.
Their treasury needs to expand over time.
Yeah.
Like in order for them to sustaining the development of like new products or services or whatever.
Yeah, because if you drain the treasury, there's no more
then
production.
You're dead. Yeah. Exactly. Developers are no longer like
getting paid.
Yeah. So it's like nothing happens at that point. You just fizzle away.
Yeah.
But you're the one who brought up like that's one of the main issues of why businesses fail is like they stratify in their like initiatives too much instead of focusing on like one thing and doing it really well.
That's right. That's right.
I forgot who said that. It was somebody you follow.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't remember.
I don't know. But that happens in a lot of cases. So if a DAO for, I guess, the SATS community can emerge, it's like we have a very defined, agreed upon like mission, I guess.
Were you talking about Alex Hormozy?
Yes, that's the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he says that often.
Yeah.
So
so hopefully the Alex Hormozy principle applies to whatever SATS becomes, right? So now we have 30,000 plus people. Like now, once this thing inscribes out or whatever.
See, that's the tough thing. It's like, as a business, you got a team, and you got to direct the team to build that one thing, right?
Yeah, so who's that director? There is none.
There is none.
Right. Typically, a company has like a CEO head or something who's like, everybody, you guys are doing whatever I say.
Yeah.
And typically, that's worked out.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, yeah, it's the model that has worked, right? We have trillion-dollar companies with that model.
Correct. We have Steve Jobs and, the Mark Zuckerbergs of the world, right?
That's right.
But in the decentralized Web3 space, we haven't really seen. I mean, communities can organize.
Yeah.
But there's always like stratification of consensus, right? Even amongst Bitcoin, you got the maxis and you got the ordinals. Yeah. There's like stamps people out there.
I mean, we have concepts like Wikipedia too. That's completely crowdsource.
Yeah.
Crowdsource knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still hosted at one location, and somebody controls the buttons there, right?
There's some kind of foundation.
Yeah.
And we've seen that with Decentraland too. It's like, that's probably like Web3's best example of an attempt for like a decentralized open metaverse ecosystem.
Yeah.
They've done a lot of good things, but at the end of the day, that core foundation really is in control of that.
Yeah.
In most cases, especially when it comes from like the development of like, the technical stuff.
Yeah.
Right? So
I think it's good to go through an example of some semblance of success of like this business model, if you will. Right. If you look at Badger DAO at its peak, it was at $400 million.
Correct.
Right. And so if you go look at the highest holder, right, he's holding 32 trillion of these tokens.
1.5%, right?
Yeah, 1.5%. So 1.5% of $400 million potential is around $6 million. Yeah. So he invested anywhere between $32,000 to $60,000 for these tokens. And so we're looking at what, 100x of this this investment?
Potentially,
Yeah, potential. So a
lot has to happen, right?
Yeah, if the market cap ever reaches $400 million, then this guy made $6 million.
Wow, quite the returns.
Yeah, and quite the investment too. $32,000 is nothing to sneeze at.
Not at all, dude. Yeah, he's sitting there like batch inscribing the hell out of these things, probably for
one at a time.
Well, you can.
Oh yeah, you can
slide it and
you
can do a bunch, but still, it's like. Yeah, I mean, this is one hell of a commitment, but he owns 1.5% of this thing. That's like the Winklevoss twins, I think, own about that much Bitcoin. So they made a similar bet, but I think they spent like $9 million or something like that to acquire like one
early days, like 2012.
Yeah, like 2011, 20.
Yeah,
like whenever Bitcoin was pretty cheap.
Yeah, it's like $30.
But the value prospect of Bitcoin was much more clear than this. You know what I mean? There was, again, a much more unique, cohesive, unified vision and purpose and mission for Bitcoin. Right?
Well, not only it solved a computer science problem,
right,
and it was working.
Yeah, it had an actual running. It wasn't just vapor.
Yeah,
right? It had substance.
Yeah, it didn't have just a bunch of holders. It had like a network. Correct.
So what we're seeing here is like a network effect, I guess, like pre-product delivery, right? So now again, it's kind of like a PFP project or something. Like everybody invested in a PFP. Yeah, it was like up to you, community, to figure out how to make this useful and valuable to the rest of humanity.
Yeah, and we were talking about how the supply is nears the like meme tokens.
Yeah,
they always have like trillions and quadrillions amount.
True. Like PayPay. Yeah.
But I think with a meme token, there's like a picture to get behind, right? Like you have a community all behind a picture or, a something. Dog or a frog.
An actual meme, yeah.
Yeah, something.
That's true.
And they would just push it because it's cool and funny or whatever.
But this is cool, too, in the sense that like it parodies one-to-one of like how many actual Satoshis exist, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing really that meme-y about it.
No.
But it is cool and interesting.
Yeah.
I guess you're indifferent. I don't know. I think it's interesting enough.
It is interesting. It's just just because you have a bunch of holders without a direction, it's interesting. It's more interesting when you have a bunch of holders with a direction.
Of course,
that you got
AKA
everybody.
Bitmap.
Yeah,
like everybody knows what we're like in it for. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So in this is an interesting, just for the experiment of it in itself. Like who's going to become the dominant, I guess, navigators within this community or ecosystem? Who's going to kind of like galvanize the community? Is like, all right, guys, we're all here. This is what we're gonna do. And then how are they gonna do that? How are they going to like build a coalition and attract more developers? It is tough.
That's tough, dude.
It is tough. But
it's like, so the comparison with Bitmap is different because it's like you have a canvas with tools, right?
Right.
Build with this versus.
Well, we have to build the tools first.
Yeah, but the tools exist. You just have to use them, right? The tools are already there. But
there's something. Yeah, you're right.
But with SATS, it's like, it's not even a canvas. It's just a void. It's an empty space.
Yeah.
It's like you got to fill it with something, and then people have to like it.
Pretty much. Why shoot. Fuck it, dude. Why not, dude? Let's give it a shot. Let's give it a shot. You know?
I mean, the shot is happening, dude.
It is happening. So we're almost at mint out.
Yeah.
I'm predicting within a couple of weeks, we're going to see like a very rapid acceleration for this. And then I think this narrative is going to go beyond just what we're talking about. And it's going to be, everyone should be talking about it, because just the fact that it's the largest ordinal community by far.
Yeah, you're not cool until you have some SATs.
There basically. You go. There you go, dude. If you ain't a real ordinal bra.
Yeah, that's right.
Unless you got some SATs in your wallet.
Yeah.
You know, I could see that taking over. If you don't got no SATs, dude, you're not my friend.
Yeah.
You're my foe. You know?
Well, at least that's some semblance of utility.
That is. It can become like a whole fucking like passport mechanism for the metaverse, you know?
Yeah, true.
The more SATs you own, the more fucking
cooler you are. You look.
The cooler your avatar turns out.
Yeah.
You know, it's another DMT derivative.
Right.
I don't know. We'll see.
All right. Well, let us know what you think in the comment section below. The mint out is going to be happening probably in a couple of weeks. And if you know of some project developing for the SATS ecosystem.
Oh, yeah. We want to hear about that.
Yeah, definitely hit us up. And that's it. I appreciate you guys for watching, and we will catch you in the next video.
Peace.